Okay, then let's start our CSCI 380, our web programming and interface design. And today, the content, what we're going to cover is pretty short, but more like practical because we're going to move on the next step is like how can we create multiple pages, right? Because like we work on the single components, okay? And let's reconnect. Okay. And today we will talk about like routing. Okay. If we need to using routing, like we divert from my different pages to another page components, we need to install a package. Okay. So later I will tell you what kind of package we need to use. And how can we slightly cover a little bit about the component styling? Okay, just mention it because about CSS. Okay, have some idea, but later I will cover more, okay, related to the CSS. So far we'll know what's the client-side routing in React. Okay, so how can we do the navigation? Okay, so it's the basic beginning when we create websites, okay? And also maybe how can we do dynamic routes with parameter? Okay, so here would be the key component. And last part we'll kind of like address. So it's just like bringing for our next topic up related to CSS. Okay, so it's the styling approach. And when we talk about routing, so it's mainly say allow us navigation between different pages. And so far for our single page application, SPA, we say, so routing just handle on our client side. Okay, so it's how that we add. And of course, sometimes we do have some, if you know the dynamic routing, that means passing the parameter. Also, we can implement from the server side. That means the server telling which page we should redirect to. Okay, so we have different approach to apply. First, let me talk about like on the client side first. Then I will let me share a little bit more related to server side, because we are not doing server side because if you want, yes, mainly is related to, let's say, the login page. Okay. Later I will talk about that. And also the React router. So it's also it's a standard library for routing. Okay, so we can install it. And pretty straightforward, we can use the npm install React router DOM. Okay, so it try to create. If you remember, I mentioned one thing. If we need to build this one is the dependence. Okay, we require it for our project. Okay, so we need to pass one more parameter if we want to save it to JSON file. Anybody still remember? What should we do? If I want to save this React router to your packet.json file, we can add one more parameter. Save. I just quickly mentioned it. Yeah, so if like in case some of you know, so maybe when you're like busy working on the page, having fun. Okay, actually I talk about this one. But I will do it one more time because here is like kind of like first time I'm telling you to install the node package. Okay, because so far I just tell you if you want, you can install it. But as a first time, we're going to install the first package we need is the React router DOM. Later we will install Bootstrap, okay, or later, okay. If for testing, then unit test like Mocha, okay, all this will be later. And then how can we define the routes and also adding the navigation links to your different pages? That's what we're going to do. Here, just give you the sample. This one should be the latest version. Okay. If you look at some source code, or you need to remind if you are using maybe not so sure like Gemini or ChatGPT to ask you to generate some source code, they may give you some outdated I think they do have a phased out version. It's called Switch. Okay, so we are no longer support it anymore, especially you are using the old React package. Okay, so right here we need to using the browser router, routes and route. Okay, so here's a three keywords we need to import from the React router DOM right here. So you can using import. Okay, so first tag element is the browser router. Okay, then next we need to declare the routes. And the next, like every route, we can add it in this way. So route and adding, give a path. So right here we declare, so the path. Okay, so right here is the path later for your URL. Okay, so will be the path right here, about an element. So right here will be the import element we're going to import. If you remember when we are working on the single page element, if you have multiple tag, how can we import it? Or if you look at it, if you have no idea, then we are going to try, okay, for today, okay? And so this one, we need to import the home, and then we need to import the about this component, okay? I did upload the for the lab a multiple page. So if you can create by yourself, or you can download it and modify, okay, by yourself. And right here. And next, when we talk about the dynamic routes, so we need to pass the parameter so we can rendering based on the URL values. Sometimes we will adding like slash post with certain ID, okay, or we can pass it use params, okay, the parameters. We can pass it to hold the access parameter. Okay, if you remember, we talk about use effect, right? Or sometimes we need to use the use state. Okay, so when we talk, so all this will be the hooks. Okay, so how can you later you will see more like deep after month or mounting update after month. All this, like they are different type of hooks. Later I will cover it. Okay, that's how we're going to pass it. And kind of last part, I'll let you start. And we have different type of CSS. Okay, I just quickly cover it. And then, but we are not really dive really deep. Just let you know we have different CSS. Also, I already give you one CSS file. So, okay, we're going to import. Okay, you can modify it. In this moment, I just assume you have no idea what CSS, and just like copy and paste. Okay, or like Google it, search online, okay, use wherever any AI like have to generate some CSS, just like how to do copy and paste. Okay, but later I do have a lecture like covering what's the CSS, including what's the class, what's the ID. Okay, and so far we have three types right here. Most of the time, maybe the CSS in like JS approach will be inside. We need to work on the style components, or we will import the modules. But in this moment, just need to know the terms right here will be enough. But in practical, then you can do it in practice, okay? And just quickly move to our lab view exercise. Today we will try to create a multi-page app. Okay, then we need to add all the notifications. Here's a really like rough structure. And next step is like how can you put all those like components, okay, together, create a multiple page. Because if you can do this part, then it will be your coming second assignment. So I think all of you are like ready. Because next assignment, then you need to kind of like give yourself a topic, like you want to create maybe, I don't know, like Pokemon, and then multiple page. Okay. So you need to create and then create the link. So you should able like click on the menu, navigation, redirect to another page, go back, and sometimes you can add a little bit more element like image, okay, or some buttons effect, because I didn't really cover that much, but if you know some buttons, elements, okay, you can add it. You're welcome, like you can export earlier. So I will mention about what's the bootstrap. You can go to use bootstrap, or if you want to use other CSS framework, it's okay. Okay, something like material UI, wherever. So if you want, feel free to search it. Yeah, there's no like fixed say, okay, you have to use this type of UI or which one. Okay, always depends on the needs of market, industry, community. Yeah, always coming up. And I already upload to DJL, so you can download the files. Okay, and right here you should, okay, I think pretty dark. I already uploaded the lab file. So under here, I have a app.jsx. Okay, and I've got the app.module CSS. Okay, and also the one that integrate together. Okay, if you want to see like how can we import the style. Actually, when you create a new project, okay, you will see how can we import the CSS, right? So you just need to change the path. But right here, I didn't really put into the CSS file. So if I say, please create a CSS folder and put this CSS module CSS into this folder and then change the directory. Can you do that? Okay, so it's one part of it. And right here, I already have some like route right here. Okay, so you need to modify and make it works. Okay, so you can refer to this one or say go to the documents. Okay, and I copy the source code and modify, make it works. But kind of like at least when you copy the source code, step one is like copy and paste, and then you can see it. Okay, if you can see it, then we can modify it. Okay, adding more page and learning the structure. So right here, you see slightly not the same because we have some another way how to import. Right here, you can see if you remember in MySQL database, where how can we do the naming? So if you look at this like first line, I'm not so sure how many of you can read it. See. How many can read this line? Let me summary. Let me use the text. I need to change the fonts. Okay. Just... Okay. Mainly, I would like to highlight this one. You can see the browser router, and then we're putting S router. So we can rename your import. Right here, if you look at the import, okay, local devices. If we need to import any functions or like anything from the default library, okay, all this name, just like similar when you have a function, we have the function name app, and then we will export it default app, right? So the names match. Okay, so you cannot import something doesn't exist. And that's why we need to look at the document. Like let's say if we need to use the router DOM, then we need to look at this document. So let's say if I search it, and then right here, here's the official website, and then we can also go to, let's say I want to see the installation. Okay, so installation, how can we add the basic one is the browser router. Okay, and if we need to start with like routering, so we can copy the source code from here. Or how can we create like a multiple page? Here will be more element, like adding it later. Okay, if you are getting more familiar, you're welcome to copy it, and or like navigations, and if you want to pass in the parameter. If you remember, I talked about the user params right here. That's how can we pass the parameter. Okay, and this one depends how we declare. If you need to use it, we need to be import from React router. Okay, so you will see the slightly tricky and like to address because we can like use an alias. So try to rename this package using S. Okay, but be sure no duplicate. Okay, so you try not to like putting the name like say routers. Okay, don't do it in this way. So try to give a unique name. Okay, shorten because you know like browser router. I don't want to like always have a really long element tag. Then you can put it shorter. Okay, but always like for programming, give a meaningful variables. Okay, if you remember kind of like in my lecture, I talk about like structuring, like talk about like development. So because you are working as a team, okay, right now you're thinking, okay, I'm just working on my project, but later when you're working as a group or like if you really working in a company, so you always work together. Okay, so not only you reading your own source code, but also your teammates, groupmate will read your source code. So you need to design. Okay, just like reminding have a habit. And actually, there's some more details. We just like cover the basic one. If you're interested, go to the the official website right here, and then look at the example. Okay, and we do have more, but later I will give you more example. And let me go back to VS Code. So that's why you see the naming is different, right? So in the sample code, I give you the browser router. This time you see the router right here. And then we have the navigations, like giving a tag display and then giving a link. Okay, so this time you see one more is I adding the link. Okay, and then router. And if you copy, I would like to let you try. And then when you copy this part, what's the differences between link and then the routes? Okay, so why I have two paths right here? Okay, and when we import, remember, in the source code I didn't give you, but like in the slides you didn't see it, but right here I need to import the pages. Okay, and I have a folder, it's called pages. So all this content, just like pretty empty. I just have a header. Okay, so you need to modify the about page, contact page, and also the home page is just the same. Okay, so we can load the home page, and right here, because the entry point of React.js is the app.js. Okay, so here's the entry point. So you can do it either way. So if you want to keep the routering page, like let's say I keep it, put the home right here, and then I create a routering inside the home or in the app.js, then you need to design. Or if you look at this structure, I would like to ask you a question. Do you think will you put the home page right here, like with all the routering, and then put the component, or keep it in the app.js and then create your own home page? Which way will you do? Do you get my question? Okay, so right now I have routering right here. So would you like keep it in the app.js, this file, or I will create the home.js, so as default right here, and then redirect to homepage, and then put this router in homepage, this component. So which, okay, keep an app. Okay, in structure, yes, I would prefer doing in this way because the app is the entry point, and then telling React like how to redirect, and then it's more focused because for the homepage, it's like exactly will be the index file, like the homepage. Okay, so we try not to put the browser router this like config in the homepage. Okay, so it's like better structure. Just reminding you this way. And if you want, you can change the app.js, copy to the home.js, X this file, okay, and then you can create. And after I go through quickly, go through all these things, then you may start. Okay, try to create a multiple page and then install. And right here, if you forgot, then just let you know we can using npm create. Okay, the widget latest. Okay, and then give a project name. Okay, with the template React, and we can create it. And then yes, okay. So using the React template and using the roll down external and install with the npm. Okay, I will install it. Okay, so I'm installing the dependency right here. And because we need to install the React DOM, so we can go back right here, installation. Okay, we have either the framework right here, data. That's how can we import it. If you see npm I, it's same as install. Okay, so we just say it's a shorter one. So if you see some website or some people they post like npm I, then it's the same. For the naming, they should be the same. So you can try. Okay, and either you can follow the example right here, like the React DOM, or the follow the official document. So if let's say let's follow the official document. So you using a React outer, okay, or sometimes we add router DOM. Okay, so also we have the React router right here. We have different way to install it, so you can try. Okay, and That's how can we. But if you look at the W3 school, like you see, they create all the function all together, just like for showcase. It's not a good habit. Remember, create the pages separately. Okay. Here you see online, we have multiple versions, like showing you how to create it and what's the better habit. Then we see. Okay. Or if you're still confused, you have. No. We have to resolve the pages from here source pages on .js is the balances. Okay, so when we begin for this one for import. Next unit and PM1. Okay. But before that, let me Okay. So I think when you are following, if you remember, I talked about how to save or install. So we need to using adding the parameter, let's say npm I or install. Let's say this time we need to install the React router. Okay, so from W3 School is showing like React router DOM or like from official website React router. Okay, so we can pass a parameter save. So this one is saving these modules to the package.json file. And why we need to do it? We'll save to the dependency. So it will saving telling the React like at the so later if you need to share the maybe for your future you need to reinstall this project or you need to share to your groupmate teammates working together. Okay, so you are not saying okay I don't know which version, I don't know what kind of like no modules you require. Then once you add it and then share the package.json file, you can run npm install. So it going to grab that version and install it. Then you don't have to really like put in documents and then say, okay, you like sending a message asking, hey, which version are you installing? Which React DOM version we need to download? Okay, so you don't have to do that. Just share the package.json. Okay, but if you forgot to put the save, so it never saved to the package.json. If you don't know which file I'm talking about, actually this one package.json file. Let me show you right here, package.json right here. Okay. Right here you because like you should able to see the React DOM, okay, or the React. If the React DOM also we can use, but this one is not the router, so don't be confused. So after you install it, you should able to see the package.json. Okay. Later, I kind of like in the kind of like pretty late few lecture, I will cover what's the talk about the virtual DOM. Okay, virtual DOM that means like what you see, like we have display. In this moment, just know, yeah, we have the DOM. Okay, and if you forgot, right here, just like say, the dependence will be the package we need to use for the website itself. Okay, so the React, okay, let's say the React router. Okay, this one you will see it will save to dependence. If there's something okay later for unit tests, okay, for testing, so it would be saved to the dev dependence. Because this one is that only I need it for development. Okay, I only need the package for development, but not for production. Okay, so if for production, let's say I need to install it, we do not need to install those modules. Okay, so here's the differences. And later, we need to update or change the configuration, the information right here. But in this moment, just learning, so you don't have to work on it. And so right here, and you can change it. Right now we have only SS, then you need to create the CSS folder, page folder. Okay, try to follow the structure and then import them correctly. If you have any further question, let me know. Okay, so right, yeah, yeah. So always when we install the zones package, okay, so they will tell how many package they will be installed, and then sometimes they give you the some information as one, two, three, as well, yeah, developer, and then some like those team, okay, but this is not for you any topics, so you are for this, okay, you to yes, yeah, okay, and then try to make it work like you can see. There's the internet right here. That is you can put it on this. When you're working, let me see. And we don't have many because for the next Tuesday, because I have the appointment like conflict, so I cannot come back here. So I will see if you want to change it to first. But maybe I'll ask again, but we won't meet in Tuesday. Okay, just let you know.
What day is the conference? Is it Tuesday or is it?
Thursday this week, but I'm still looking, because I couldn't find the email, because that's what Amy, she told me, but I'm looking for, yeah, if I can try to forward to you, so today maybe I can ask it. Yeah. I couldn't find that email, so, yeah, okay, I tried to post it. Yep.
Another, I think it's a real, like, if a real for real. I don't know. We had that, yeah. Like actually gets the. Right. Actually, yeah, that thing, because we went to a little thing, and we talked to some freaking Lucky Bars people, those schools, so.
So this is some sort of like to actually get a job.
Oh, yeah, because whatever the Lucky, because whatever the other one was,
That's social.
yeah.
I'm still in my junior year.
Yes, but this one is just like.
What I have, and what I have. You want to get her do your stuff that.
Yes, yeah, and then we can.
Well, yes.
That's what here. Let me hit on the screen so you can see it.
They want to find a student for that. And then next, yeah. Cause it's, yeah, it's cool, because it's not just.
So npm create read at latest, and then this is your project name. I put it in a square bracket. You can replace it, and then we're using the template. So don't miss the E, and we add. Okay. So it will pop up certain questions asking you. Then you still have. So why not?
You'd be in your middle.
Okay, so we are not working on the content first. We have the structure. What's the entry point data? What we have.
That's true. Sleep 8 hours. 16. I need at least 8 hours.
Okay, so we're starting to work on this strategy. So. And
That's what we
got
got.
the copy inside that. Because they.
I mean.
Okay, here's the issue, because I upload the homepage actually just at the page. That's this part.
Yeah. I already installed that. What else could be?
Are you not going to? Actually, you can add more. Yeah, actually, no, just.
Okay.
I'm sure I see how to do this way. Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah. Also just copy the secret and putting it into a new app.
Yeah, we start the project and direct. So it's. Change the home. And expect to be you can display something. So we try to change the home. This one is a basic. We can save it. And change the entry form right here. So let's see if we can. Right. So the IDE. Okay. They share some source code. I would recommend you start a project from scratch first and then copy the source code. Yeah, because if you just like let me remember one more thing. If you pay attention to my home and app.js, they are the same files, like same source code. You need to change your home if you are directly copying, because actually here's I just like try to address the question like should you put the routering code, source code in the app.js or the homepage, okay? But if you want to change it, you are better to, for testing, you need to change it to this way, okay? And then otherwise you will get the error, okay? So right here, because we are importing home in the app.js. So remember app.jsx is the entry point, okay? Just similar to the index, okay? Right here, and then start from routering, then we will first page by default. By default will be the default path, the elements home. Okay, if you want to change to another maybe default pages, then you can change it. Okay, and then we have the about context. Okay, switching. You can adding this menu. Okay, so also you can like pay attention why we're doing what like. I think if you're executing, I think you can observe a part of it. Why we have the navigation link on the top. Like compare with the source code on the slides and here, what's the differences? Can you tell why? I think some of you works. Don't know why we have like two parts to the source code, link and route. If you look at your screen. Yes, yes, the navigation. The bracket, actually. Because you missed that 49. Okay, so right here it's just asking. So right now you can type it. So you can give it. Yes. Yeah, your work. Yeah, we five that. Switch. Okay, good. So you can do this, then you can. Yes. Okay. So at least I make sure you can.
Do you know why it doesn't give it true?
Are you using any yes code? Okay. Oh, page right here. Sometimes if you want to avoid this, to me, I prefer that incognito mode. Yeah, I say sometimes it would be better because it's not keeping the cache. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, so one of the development because it can be said. Yeah, so project name package. No, sweet. And then put them into the begin so yes. We see even this package there Pokemon changing compared to the previous week or last week, the installation steps also be changed too. So this one is like you skip the step npm install. So it will help you to install it. So right now you can test it. because we start with the kind of structures. You are able to create the line. Okay, so what do we need to do right now? Copy the source code to this file.
You show the represents the idea.
Okay, so here's your project right now. Okay, and you see there's something very soon. Okay, you find that.
I mean, I basically the folder flag into the new app.
Source. So all the
So
source
that's
code
kind of
is right here. So
web
the
page.
first step, you need to install the VM router thing for routering, and then modify the or you need to modify the FFAS page. Okay, so you need to, or if you want to keep it, you can create a new page. If you want to
Sorry, I can't.
and that, so create the pages.
No, just get it.
Comment,
Well, here I'm like.
or it's comments, right? But any pages, and then you can copy this one. Page. Yeah, if you want to change it, and because this one is the structure, so if I want to make it as a simple, you can just follow my sample code. This one for testing home, you need to modify the home. You can just copy this function. This one just give an example. You need to create a function, is a page name, and then export by default. Then we can call it. Yeah, so you can try.
Essentially, just put
Someone like this because when we run the starting the end, you can do anything like that. So different ways. So you can multiple two terminal, you can single terminal, or if you can split it. So either way, though. You can sure.
So yeah, with my new account, trying to
Add one more term, let's say start one, and then apps essentially switch to the button. Okay, make sure your directory is correct. Right now you're under that. So make sure you are in the correct folder. So you need to use CD, change, week. If you want to check, you can use the tab. Let's say if you don't, not so sure, you can use the tab. And then you can run npm. And if you remember, if I want to save this package to JSON file, what should I pass? Yes. But why not you already installed, but you can like try to execute one, say then you can. Okay, let's say you right now you already installed the React Online. So let's try to execute one more time and then pass that. Okay. So you tell it's fully up to date, and then when you can check the package change. You see the React Online. Okay, version 7.9. Okay, that means we already saved it. And all you need to do just copy. You can modify the React.js. So the entry point is the app.js. Okay, so we have to modify this one. I give you time to try. If you know, then have you know the whole structure of React. Okay. Okay. So first right now we are going to have some with the message. Are you using the telephone to run a user? Okay. Or sometimes if you're like using the same term right here, sometimes it's easy. Okay, entry point. See, okay, this part is the letter. function. These are actually these are about the syntax. I didn't really cover this last night. So when we return it, if you look at the sample structure, no, I switch. Let me mention this in the lecture. Okay. Okay. Because when I look at some source code, like maybe if you have a question, okay, if I want to generate or create a page, okay, so as a component, all the elements should be contained inside the return, okay. So if you have like multiple lines, we are going to use the curly bracket right here and return it, okay. So we should try to make sure everything's inside the curly bracket. And if you look at our default source code, if you see the default source code right here, okay. Sorry, my mistake. Not curly bracket. It's the return function. It's the return function right here. Okay, and so you see, except the variable with decay constant, we only have one return, and this return function is going to generate all the HTML components inside. Okay, so no matter how your structure looks like, remember put everything inside return. So if you need to create a HTML page, all the text, all the div, everything should be inside this return bracket. Okay. Just in case if you don't know. Because this one is a symbol, so can you tell the differences? Why is it okay? This one is a symbol, so it's okay. But if you have multiple elements, like have correctly structures, then you need to add this. But for a better, like we say, consistency, then I will always use that. You can change it. And in Node.js, indentation is not a must, but for better reading, you can do the indentation. Okay, and then start the simple session. So install the React program, but we still install it again. So save. Even missing, you can do one. So it won't affect yours because the ones npm scanning, if the success, you're not going to everything stored, so it's fine. Then yes. And I don't know, you are always using that. Okay, so this one is the different. The host, if you have a multiple, let's say if you start in the project by multiple phases, then there's different page. This one be for practical, never like for multiple VM projects. You use right here, and then right here just need to check the source code, right? Okay, let me refresh. Okay, so suppose if you can able to do this step, so far you're okay for this step, okay, and then you can start to modify content, I think some image, play with it, and it will be your second side. I will post it later. Okay. Yes, okay. Same that. NPM1. So what's the error message? NPM error. Missing script that. So if you enter NPM1, yeah. So what's the problem? Okay, what this one? Okay, so we're missing this script one. Okay, and it's confused because you're using the VS Code, VS source code. Depends on really terminate and using multiple like different terminal, but it will could have it. I would recommend between you can try to use the same terminal right here. Okay, so you know that exact location. So right here your location still on the left, so should be direct. Yeah, you can the location. I'm not sure it's So you start with the NPA creation.
Yes, so I think that has some stuff.
Then you need to change those
To so
every time we create a project because we have to start from scratch, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not recommend. If you want to play right here, or let's say if you have the every time, let's say want to play right here, so we should make what is say of the for this one. Okay, so right here, then you can start a new project. Try to start a let's say you can stay the VS Code, and then we have the left again. And how can we start a project? NPM create. Okay, start with this one. And if when you are installing, you realize one thing actually for the NPM create the VS bit. Actually, you see the running script it changed. Have you ever paid attention when you execute?
So I'm just wondering, actually, still it's like supposed to look like this
Okay.
or fine with this. It's just supposed to look like this. Restricted thing. And we're not importing the analysis here.
You're importing two CSS, okay?
Is it just that one?
No, so. Okay, and below right here, you try to import with there's a one channel, okay?
So it's still one. Or is it supposed to be this?
Yeah, but before, actually, if you look at the model CSS, source code, it's nothing, just like for the display, like one is the navigation, for this one, just like telling, okay, what's the basic, nothing with the padding, so there's nothing special about the backward, okay? And for those like, the white background just depends on your system. Okay. Yeah. And just telling you, because I want to, let's say I give you all these source codes. So one thing is how can you create a folder, like user structure? Okay, so let's say I need to create a CSS folder. Okay, I need to put the CSS file into this folder. Or let's say the pages. Okay, I need to create a folder of pages. How can I import and correct? So you can see the from the entry one is the your X. I see you are JSX. This one is the entry pocket.
Yes,
right here. So how can we import those files? You see, so we need to declare the /pages home. So if I look right here, it's just a router. Okay, so for the entry point, it formatted because it only just like showing the display the manual and then the runner and then the title actually is from the homepage or contents. Yeah, you can switch. Okay, we have actual is the header. So on the top is the main. Go back to Apple.js. Let's get right here. So right here is the navigation link, okay, on the top, and then the bottom is the right. Okay. So this one you didn't see anything, but the content are going to display right here. Okay, so either home or replace. Yes. So that's why we only have. Also, we have the what is the inline style. Okay. So
I see.
Yeah. So you can I have not yet covered the CSS, so you can like play with new word, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So inline have the highest priority. Okay. Because if you have let's say if we have an import CSS or the script like on the header CSS, and then the inline always the last one. Okay, that means the highest. If you want to change it, inline have the highest priority. And then, but later, I'm not yet covered the CSS. So if no idea, it's fine. Okay, and just try. Well, you're welcome. Like you looking for some online resources, and I would recommend some other for the Bootstrap. If your idea, you can try. In this moment, I will cover it later. Because later multiple page, then we will start to move on to the API server. And then database connecting and CSS I cover it in the last part, and then I try to cover in the lecture talk on that. We don't have that much time to go through all it. Yeah.
It should be good. Very shortly. It's just the web.
Okay. You got it. Okay. So why not you okay, what's the issue? 8 we have two. You should have a typically name have two different and then the name. Let's say because I give you correct two. Easy to follow. If you want to be consistent, 3, 5, 5. Okay, you can do it. Cannot be is the What you're creating under this directory.
Was it? Yeah.
Closer, closer.
You need help, what was it?
No, so what's finished, what's finished it look like?
Oh, it's just. Look like this. I'm currently like shit putting on. Should do.
Oh, so you really just wants us like here.
Well, it should be in the lab, should be done when I have the.
This is the lab here, and then you just have to.
Well, he, in the lab folder, there's a bunch of files taken out. Like this.
People Windows, that's like
People have.
backslash is not just it's a one backslash, one slash.
Oh.
So, like talking like this.
You just type it in.
Messy.
Okay, so suppose right now the engine showing working, so you can start to set them again for 8.
Here, oh, let me see. So.
Let me see any comments. No. Okay.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from just importing some of those things that's very accurately associated with things?
Nice.
Pretty much everything.
Okay, we find before then. Okay, so this one, it will meant to be.
Okay, so
Oh,
for some reason. Yeah, I think that's the,
And that's window.
yeah, remove the dot and square on it.
Just type it.
So we're not using the program.
Oh, you do?
And then yes, it's start now, that means like it will install all the modules and then start. So
Okay,
after you go,
this one, I don't know why.
then what should we do?
But there's,
We need to
see how this is completed. This is one of the things.
so why here, because when you're starting, this one is one is the local. So you cannot over anything, then we need to start a new.
You're not, okay.
Coming in. And then do the then we say we need to change that between. This way. Okay, and then change directory to your project.
Yeah, here.
So remember when you install your node package,
About.
remember to change your location. Okay, back to your project folder. I say that when you need to install the npm install package, remember make sure the package is in your same project folder. Okay. The reason why sometimes we can install the node modules to global, so we can pass the parameter like -g is like installed to global. That means like all the environment. But for a better habit, like for developer, we only install those required package for your specific project only. So we already change your directory and then install it. Sometimes if you realize that, okay, why I installed the package, but I couldn't find it, that means that you not yet change your directory correctly. Okay, just reminding you. Okay. So,
Are you sure you're starting to write the NPM?
okay, right.
Okay, so go back and see.
Well, I didn't really move the zip into it, I just made a new one from scratch. I think.
Okay, so when you're working, so last part, because when we talk about, it's just the intro. So it just like talk about the CSS. So we have three parts. One is the VS CSS. So inside we have the, if you look at the app.jsx, so we have an index one, right? So we have called that inline CSS. Okay, so this one, it comes with the highest priority. So normally we have the inline styling CSS style sheet. That means that in the same word, like we import as the CSS modules. The app.css is the import modules, right? The files. So if they have different priority. Okay, if for the import one have a lowest one, and then inline have highest priority. That means if you want to change it, let's say for the header, okay, for the header, you first for this tag, for the import one, you put it like H5. And then for the CSS style sheet, you will put like H3. And then inline you put H1. What's the result? It should be H1 because inline have the highest priority. Just let you know. For the more like detail, how can we declare like something we have like declare the modules like here. I show you is like the like modules, and then we can import it. Okay. Because I'm telling you, try to create a folder called the CSS, and then put this like modules.css into it and then import it. So try to do this part. So try to import it because we are not yet covered like how to work on the CSS style, how to like change the color, whatever. Okay, because we are going to cover in later. But in this moment, it's just like let you know how can we import them correctly, and then with structure, like create different folder, have a good structure and organization. Okay. And we are more like including for the inline CSS. So right here, you can declare in the same function. If you see right here, we have the function app, and then you can have a same like constant, and then with the style. So with style and the H1. And here will be all the content for your style. Okay, so here will be one of the, but you need to remember to import style from the style components. Okay, so this how can we edit the inline CSS? So we have three different ways to change it, but we're going to cover later, But because when we are building a website, sometimes you have to touch it, but we don't have that much time to cover this part. Because later, after we finish the multi-page, then we need to build the API server, connect to the database. Okay, so that's why I try to put the CSS type later in the lecture. If need help, I would like help you to build it. Okay, if you have question, you can ask about the CSS. But in the coming like few weeks, we don't have that much time to really focus on CSS. I will keep it later. Okay. And so for if student online, I think it's almost time. So if student online have no question, then I will stop the sharing and stay help you right here. Okay.